Are you gonna help?
I'm just gonna watch.
Yeah, well, it's your turn next.
It's a beautiful, sunny, dry day, and this is what we're working on. We're gonna try and document every piece that we duplicate, make sure we don't miss anything. Meanwhile, here's Laura doing Laura's thing.
Dry, sunny day.
Dry, sunny day. Whoops. Close the doors, keep the dust out.
Earlier.
Try to keep as much dust out as possible.
They're still paving the roads, so there's dust everywhere.
Yeah.
And this is the first dry day we've had where it hasn't been 90% humidity out here.
You know.
So, get it done. I would much rather be outside playing though. That is gorgeous out.
Yes, but we have work to do.
We have work to do.
And more of this, which we've done lots of. Laura's getting really good at it.
Whoa, practice.
You sure you're not putting it on too thick?
Hey, bud. That's a good man. How's it going, Chuck?
Pretty good.
Hey, we're doing a dump run tomorrow. Boy, that's exciting.
That's going to be exciting, yeah.
So we're going through all of our pieces and we're going to do a side-by-side comparison and make notes of what little things need to be changed or we should have done different
Oops.
or whatever. And because we're almost kind of gearing up to get out of here soon.
Yep.
So
We hope.
we're cleaning out the back of the truck and doing a dump run. Yay. Hey, get Hagar. You went around the corner.
Here you go. Hey, oh, he's just over there. Hagar! He's a good boy. He's not going anywhere.
I'm glad you trust him. I don't.
Let's see, we're bringing stuff out, mashing it up. So, move this over here for now.
Wow, quite a big difference.
Well, to be fair, that one's been sitting out in the back of the pickup truck for 3 months.
True enough, in the hardcore sunshine.
Yeah, but it doesn't look much worse than it did when we took it out.
Nope, it does not. So, all right. Well, neighbor dog wants to say hi, so I guess we better go.
Are you doing that again?
Yeah, forever. I was just sitting here thinking I am looking forward to the day where we're at anchor somewhere and I can finally be laying on my backside with a cup of coffee in hand at anchor, staring at these bulkheads, remembering fondly the days in Petersburg where I was just standing and painting and punching. I'm looking forward to that.
Are you now?
Yeah. Oy.
So this might possibly be, maybe,
I think
possibly.
if the sun and moon and the humidity and temperatures are aligned,
planets.
this might be the last coat.
Oh, the last coat of varnish.
I think maybe it's starting to turn out pretty good.
How many coats is this for then?
This is, number 4 is the next one going on.
Oh, you gotta put more than that. It's gotta be at least 6. No, I'm serious. As long as it looks good.
Yep, and it's starting to buff it out. Let's see where we're at.
Yeah. Well, you can tell from the carefully controlled audio that we're working in
Everybody's else is outside doing stuff too.
Yeah, well, it's not raining, so everybody's out doing stuff. It's a dry, sunny day, and everybody's out doing things.
Projects, outside
We've
projects.
already been down to the boat. We took the water tank down and fitted it. Unfortunately, with the water tank in, we can't put the bulkhead as far forward as it needs to go in order to fit properly. So I think we're just going to go ahead and put it in there and fill it.
Down to
Or, well, the only other option is to make a new bulkhead, and that means another.
starting over from the very first piece we cut.
Yeah, the very first piece we cut, and that would take us
Another week.
5 or 6 days anyway.
Yeah, well, more than that if you want to refiberglass.
If we want to glass it, we wouldn't need to glass it, but yeah. So I think what we're going to wind up doing is just putting that one in the way it came out, or the way it went in the first time.
I think to kind of hash back is after we got it cut and all of that, you went to put it in and realized that it was never cut right the first time. So we took a pattern off of something that wasn't correct anyway.
The one we took out, if you recall, it just lifted out. It just tore loose. It wasn't fastened in there good at all. And the reason it wasn't fastened in good is because it didn't fit properly. Didn't realize that at the time. Took a pattern off of that and made the new one exactly the same. And of course it doesn't fit right either. So, well, we'll make it work the way they made it work. But we'll do a better job of gluing it in, because we're not under pressure to get off the clock before overtime kicks in, I guess.
Yeah, there's that. There's just no taking into account if somebody had a bad Friday.
Yep. Well, that's with any mass-produced thing. There are limitations. And you're going to find this kind of stuff, but...
It would have been nice to find it a little sooner.
Yeah, well, that's our fault. That's our fault. We didn't... See, we just assumed that the pieces that were cut at the factory were cut properly. How were we to know that they weren't? Can you imagine being one of the guys building these boats originally and knowing that you have to deal with that for some reason? Yeah, all those things are cut wrong. Or what may have happened, I don't know. What may have happened is a new batch of water tanks that pushed that bulkhead back farther, and they
You just never know.
and they didn't get around to repatterning that bulkhead. Who knows? All sorts of things could have happened to cause that little
All speculation.
manufacturing expediency. Another one is that the filler hose is on the very front of the tank, and I thought, because the hose comes straight out. It comes straight out forward at the forward end of the tank, right up against the hull. And it had a plastic hose on it that was kind of kinked, almost flat, but enough to allow water to go in. And I was thinking, why didn't they put an elbow on there? So I went and got an elbow.
And of course now we know why.
And put it on there, and now we know why. There's no room for the elbow. And the elbow interferes with the vent also, so we're back to a kinked plastic hose. It'll work. I mean, the old one worked for 43 years. The new one will work too, but
less than ideal.
Less than ideal. We'd like a cleaner installation, but hey, it'll all be good, just like these bulkheads. So you're going to lay a coat of varnish on the bulkhead, and then we're going to head down to the boat and do that epoxy on the bulkhead, right?
Yep. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
How's it going, Chuck?
It's going good. But,
So, we had another snag.
oh man, what happened to
It's in your pocket. It was in your pocket. You found it right before we left.
Not come all the way down here without that thing. I had it in my pocket. I pulled it out of my pocket to show it to you. It wasn't in that pocket. It was in the other pocket. But where is it now?
We're gonna keep while you were digging.
Are you rolling?
Aye, we are.
Okay. Well, here's the problem. When we first got started on this project and started stripping things out of the boat, we got to the water tank back here.
Which was the very first piece, pretty much,
Well,
that
once
we
we
got
got it
done.
stripped down to the bulkheads, and we started pulling these bulkheads out, I commented that this bulkhead, the original one, was not put in very well. In fact, I didn't have to do anything to get it out except grab hold of it and lift it up. So we took it out and cleaned all the bad fiberglass off of it and used it to make a pattern. And the pattern yielded this piece. And this piece we started experimenting with finishes. We knew we had to do the stain and the fiberglass and things like that. So we used this one to try it out, and we got this is glass, it's nice and strong, it's completely sealed.
It looks like crap, but
yeah, it's all lumpy,
but it doesn't matter.
Good, and it's heavier than it needs to be, but it's plenty strong.
Yeah.
And it's totally sealed. And it's an exact duplicate of the one that came out. Problem is, the one that came out didn't fit.
And that's why it was loose.
And that's why it was loose. It was made to go about 4 inches farther forward. If we move this thing 4 inches forward, it fits right up against the flange and fits the curvature of the hull in that position. Unfortunately, with the water tank in place, you can't move it that far forward. And if you glass it in with the water tank out, you can't get the water tank in. So that kind of answers the question of why it was set back here where it doesn't fit. That answers the question of why it was where it was. It does not tell me why it was cut this way in the first place.
Well, it was probably cut thinking it was going to be up forward, and they realized that that wasn't going to work, and then they just moved it back and didn't.
Who knows? But I mean, they may have, when you're manufacturing things in the thousands, and they made over 3,000 of these boats, and this is a Series 2, not a Series 1, so it's not the original design. There have been some changes. It's possible that the supplier of the water tanks changed, or that the design of the tank changed, or there was some substitution that means the new tank wouldn't fit where the old tank fit, but they kept using the same bulkhead.
Yeah.
What the heck, we move it back a little bit, we fill this gap up, and you see how much of a gap there is there?
Yeah.
Fill that gap up with goop, and problem solved until 43 years later when Chuck decides to take out his water tank.
So what we've decided is we're going to completely redo that one piece.
Yep, we're going to make a new pattern and make a new bulkhead because this is just not going to work.
And there we go. So you're going to get your handy scribe out. We're going to scribe it.
Yep.
And
I have to stand up, which I have to work back here. Come back here and stand up and dig into my pocket. I thought it was right. Oh, there it is. Right there. Okay,
right,
so I have my scribing tool. I have to put this in place, and then I'll have to make my marks. And for that, I'm going to need your help, honey.
Alrighty, I'll be right there.
Okay. Well, as we have said, I believe, this bulkhead doesn't fit. The original bulkhead didn't fit right. I don't like the solution of the original builders, which was just to fill in the gaps with glue and let it harden. I'm going to recut the bulkhead properly so it will fit. In order to do that, we have to make a new pattern. So to make a new pattern, what we're going to do, what we have done, Laura held this in place where we need it to be. So you can see a substantial gap around the hull here. I can't do this by myself, but I'll try and demonstrate. And we use this little guy here. This is just a piece of wood that's cut with an L on the end of it. You could use anything of a specific size and shape. And this becomes your tool, your pattern making tool after you've done this. So you place this against the hull and against the bulkhead, and you slide it down and mark that distance. Okay, then when you go back to the shop, you can lay this out and use this tool to scribe that line on a new piece of material. So that's what we're doing. We're going to make a new bulkhead that fits this curvature of the hull in the correct place right there, instead of, shimming it up. showed you how we used this little tool here. See, this little tool here to take a measurement of the hull versus this bulkhead, because the bulkhead didn't quite fit. We need to figure out how we need to fix that. And so all we did was we placed this little guy here against the hull and on the bulkhead with the bulkhead in place, and then we used it to draw a line like that. So now what we do, we bring it back to the workshop, lay it out on a piece of cardboard, and then trace that line using this tool out on the cardboard. So we get the actual curvature of the hull. And then we cut that out. Back in the frame here. We cut that out. We take this piece back down to the boat, make any adjustments that are necessary, and then bring it back up here. Now, we're going to transfer the pattern to the piece of plywood, cut the plywood out, and then take that back down to the boat, make sure it fits, then we'll bring it back up here, seal it, prime it, glass it, and then take it back down and glass it into the boat. All because, stepping out of the frame again here, all because the original that we took this off of was cut wrong. And I think I have it figured out. The difference between the bulkhead